Schnitzel. Got it. Full European. Time for Sky Temple.
You're getting closer.
We're getting closer.
Yeah. By now, I should probably start teaching you German in the morning in the car when we drive
Give
to
me
work.
one word a month, and we can do this. By the end of the year, I can say a sentence.
On a sentence, we have you faster than that. Okay, here's a German sentence.
Okay.
Mein linker Blinker.
Abraham Lincoln. Did I nail it? Are we good?
All right, I'm not even going to try. It's easy. Mein linker Blinker ist kaputt.
My Lincoln Blinker is kaput.
Yeah, you see?
What do we say?
Now we know work on the pronunciation. You're golden. Your left indicator is apparently broken. I'm not
Oh,
quite sure why you're talking about your car here, but yeah.
But this is true. You reminded me. I get that fixed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, into the game here. Tassadar and Uther has been banned out. Supports are gone. Genji on the right side picked up. The Ducks are not swaying from that. They think Genji is high priority. Dignitas, though, they do sway slightly. A Nubarak and Greymane will be over here on the side because Uther is not up.
So the Ducks shifted their ban priority a bit. They banned Anubarak earlier because they are also quite afraid of the playmaking abilities that the hero has and the impact. Keep in mind, this is pre-Anubarak nerfs. But they're banning out Uther, and we've now seen twice Uther played for Dignitas, and both times we also saw the stats. By now, he's 8-2. Bakery's 8-2 on Uther, and that is pretty impressive. So the Ducks simply shifted their focus a little bit and said, with all the stuns coming out, with the Benediction after 16, and also having, of course, the Guardian of the Ancient Kings, is just a bit too much for us to handle here. So they prioritize Uther over the Anubarak ban. So that might have the impact that they're hoping for. It at least gives Genji a little bit more freedom.
Playing Ducks answer back with that Rhaegar and Arthas right away. So going straight into supports with Tassadar. Uther not being available, to make sure they grab one that's solid for them. And they get Arthas instead for a little bit more control on those temples. Good against a Nubrak too. I actually like having an Arthas against a Nubrak simply for that Frozen Tempest. It is one way to help with Cocoon.
Also, you take a hero away from Zelia.
True.
Now, they could ban out Dehaka, and that would definitely put... you can't out-ban Zelia. That's not happening. You can't really target him and say, okay, we're going to ban his heroes out, and then he can't play anything. But two heroes that he has been prioritizing were Arthas and Dehaka. You get rid of the two of them. Getting rid of Dehaka here would also be great because you eliminate Side Soak, you eliminate one of the globals, and the additional stun after he comes in and tries to attack the backline.
But you can't forget about a Zillidan. There was a spree there where Dignitas were just pulling out the Illidan consistently.
Yeah, but you have Arthas already.
That's true.
You're not going to ban... I wouldn't ban the Illidan here.
Yeah.
But Dehaka would be one of the things where I'm saying, hey, this is another global that can be played, so let's get rid of that. It's just an added advantage of getting the Arthas this early, because in Europe, Arthas is not that high of priority normally. He is picked, but not that high. In A is a different story, and A really values Arthas very, very highly, oftentimes in the first rotation even.
Yeah. I just think it's really hard to take anything away from Zelia because he's so flexible. But I'm a Zelia fanboy. Like, if you tell me that you can knock him out, I'm like, no.
Yeah, but that's what I said. You can't.
Totally, yeah.
I just said it would still be a good ban.
Totally. Okay, well, Malthael gets banned out. The Ducks no longer will allow available. Now Dignitas will get their answer here. Do they move into that Dehaka? Do we move into globals here for this battleground? This is one of the battlegrounds alongside Kershaw and such that you do want to pick them up if you get the chance.
I think Dehaka would be great for them.
Yeah.
They had good success with him already. Playing around the globals worked for them. You get a huge advantage towards the second temple phase in particular. So right now, Dehaka still works. There's, of course, other options they have. They also still need their support. They have no access to Uther this time, so they need to work around that. If they want to go into another battery, they could pick an Oriel as well, but we have seen some more value coming out of the Malfurion on the side of Bakery. I'm not sure if they want to commit to it over here in this particular draft. But they at least have to think a little bit more than the last few drafts, so this time they're running down the clock.
Yeah, Dignitas thinking about what they want to move into, other supports that are still available for them to pick up. There's always the Karazim, but we go straight into Brightwing here. So Dignitas putting some more faith into Brightwing.
Yeah, so we have Brightwing and Liming, so Mena on Liming. So we still need a hero for Zelia, and that is very likely going to be a solo laner. So there's still a few options, Dehaka being one of them, but there's of course other heroes to be taken as well. But they can react with their last pick now to what the Ducks are going to use themselves. And I'm curious for this one. We don't have a hero for Chris yet. So let's see what he's going to play.
I mean, Medivh is still available. Medivh with Arthas can be strong.
Yeah,
but there's a Genji there already.
Yeah, Sport Billy is more or less likely going to be on the Genji. I guess they could make that happen.
There's a Vala, there's a Tychus. I mean, Chris could be on the Genji, but Old ones, I mean, way back in the day with Jaina. Jaina gets a Nubrak, though, a bit difficult, especially with Li Ming just popping around her. What else does Chris play pretty well here that has not been picked up?
I mean, Chris has a lot of heroes. You could pick it a Gul'dan, you could go into a Vala even, so he has a ton that is available to him. The Haga now picked away from Zelia, and it is the Medivh, so Chris will be on Genji, Sport Billy on Medivh, and Illidan as the last pick. It's an interesting choice into what they have already here.
That mask on Li Ming. Kind of scary, actually.
So they go for the Pseudo Global, the Illidan into the Arthas and the Dehaka. Dehaka can play with isolation here, even if they evaluate that highly enough.
If they're able to land it, yeah. But Dignitas does have their combos, which they're known for. The Nubrak engage into Griming, Curse Bullet into Li Ming Explosion. If they're able to get a kill, it'd be fine. If not, they just back up and walk away from the fight.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to Rhaegar. If you see that hunt coming in, then immediately getting the cleanse into it and making sure that your Ancestral is ready, because that should be one of the... They are going to try and cocoon Rhaegar when they start to engage and then blow up a target with a Curse Bullet and with a hunt on the same target. That's pretty telegraphed. So that's something that the Ducks know. Then it comes down to positioning. Where do you position yourself? And also, can Medivh maybe shut it down? So making those... Dignitas is one of the teams that can make it happen, but there's enough tools on the side of the Ducks that they should be able to, if not shut it down, then at least make it a lot harder.
I will say for a majority of the drafts today for the Playing Ducks, I've actually really liked what they've been moving into. It just seems that Dignitas is kind of outclassing them as a team overall. So their drafting seems to be on point. It's just that Dignitas a little bit up here, Ducks a little down here.
I completely agree. I think the Ducks are playing so much better than they did the last few weeks, but they're still going up against Dignitas. And Dignitas themselves are improving. So the drafts that we see from the Playing Ducks are much better than what they did so far in this phase 2. At the same time, though, making that work, you can't really measure if it works or not on just looking if they get the win against Dignitas. After all, Dignitas was second at the mid-season brawl. But still, the drafts are looking good, and with Medivh now and Sport Billy, I like that. So I want to see what kind of impact he has now in that third game. Can they maybe take a map of Dignitas, or is that going to be a 3-0 victory?
Well, let's find out right now as we go into it. Dignitas looking to score the 3-0, but Playing Ducks looking to be on the scoreboard.
The game is on, and we have Bakery on Brightwing this time as Dignitas goes up against the Ducks. JPL on Anubarak, Mena on Li Ming, and of course Snitch on Greymane, as last but not least Zelia jumped into Illidan after he did not get access to his Dehaka or his Arthur, so another pseudo-global for them.
And he'll be diving into this team here on the right in the red. Wolf Joe on Rhaegar, Eternal on Dehaka, Sport Billy playing Medivh, Chris on Genji, and Nande on Arthas.
So, with what we're seeing here right now, Illidan has to be a bit careful of that Arthas and also of the Drax that we are seeing coming in from Dehaka. But you have the pseudo-global together with Brightwing, so you easily are able, after 10, to jump with 2 heroes on a lane and make it a 3 versus 1. That's when you need to be extremely careful that you're not getting caught on the map alone. So, it's something where the Ducks have to be super careful. But already they have a draft that has a lot of potential here, at least.
A lot of potential for them here. We'll see if they can stay careful here. The level 1 totem makes up for that Rhaegar. I'm gonna be keeping an eye on the Brightwing though. Brightwing is a solo healer, has received a little bit of criticism here in the HGC as of late. Seems to have a hard time keeping members up and alive, so will come down to being on point in the fights and getting the isolations. If not, Playing Ducks will be hoping to engage as quickly as they can.
And another player that we have to watch out for, of course, is Sport Billy. He already had some huge impact in the first game when he was playing Genji, but now we are seeing him on a bit of a Sport Billy special. Have him on his Medivh, and that's going to be pretty awesome.
It's been a while since we've seen it. In fact, just looking at this match, there's a lot of heroes that have big playmaking moments that we've seen very often from these guys. We have the Genji in the mix-up, we have the Medivh, we have Zelia on Illidan, we have freaking Mene on Li Ming. How exciting is this?
Yeah, Mene on Li Ming is going to be awesome, and here comes that aggression again.
He interrupted the jump.
Chris goes down. Dignitas is so good at these rotations. I am really loving the way they are playing this, not only on this map so far, but also what we've seen on the last one, on Infernal Shrines. It's very crisp play, it's on-point rotations by them, extremely fast and dangerous, and if you don't pay attention to the minimap the entire time, 1 second where you don't pay attention and you're dead.
I feel like that should be a PSA for most people that have a minimap on their screen. If you don't pay attention to it, you're probably dead.
Yeah.
Well,
it's true.
JBL coming in, 4-3. Temple is being contested here in the middle. Sport Billy coming in for some harassment. Snitch and Brightwing should be able to get it out. We do have Illidan and Dahaka staying at the bottom. Dahaka has the upper hand there if he wants to rotate in.
Yeah, there's a lockdown though against JPL, so he takes a bit of free damage here. Won't fall, but still this is good damage output by them. Both of the teams are now on level 4 talents, and that also means that Rega is more sustained for his team thanks to the healing ward. They are going in again. Nanda down. Dignitas just so good at these engages.
Nanda down, and the Temple grabbed. Experience up 5.25 to 4.5. Illidan in the bottom. Dahaka being down for, or Arthas being down for the moment, has brought Dahaka to the middle lane, while Illidan is gaining the advantage in the bottom right, breaking out turrets, getting the minions.
That's what I'm worried about a bit. Every single time I see Illidan alone on the lane, you leave him alone and he is getting value. He is so effective against the structures here. The Koreans were actually one of the first ones that, Rich in particular, they were hyper-aggressive against structures with Illidan and just started moving in, trading up against opponents that underestimated his ability to put pressure onto towers and forts. So it was quite a while ago, but by now most teams have really picked up on that, and Illidan just is fantastic. At the bot lane, once the Haka moves in, he has free reign, and that's of course what they want here. They're already about a level ahead, just by taking down the front walls.
They're about to hit level 7 too. Chris was harassing a new Brock for a while there, so Playing Ducks will be able to grab this Temple for the moment. Get some heals from Brightwing, but the experience lead is what really counts for Dignitas. They can move into a Merc camp at some point, get that top lane pressured in, rotate Illidan out, because he's already done his job. Breaking down the turrets and getting that damage done and getting the experience is all Zillia had to do.
Oh yeah, especially since now when you take your own Siege Giants down here, you have a good shot at eliminating the Fountain of the Ducks, and then their sustain is taken away from the lane, which makes it much harder for them at level, or at the next temple, to fight for the shots. It also is, the one reason why this is so cool for Dignitas is also, they essentially won a 4 versus 5 earlier when they dove in and took Arthas down, and that's just, this is just showing how on point they are. They call one target, they see an opportunity because someone on 60% HP moved forward a little bit too much. All of a sudden there's a double stun after Nubarak burrows in, and everyone else jumps on the target and they blow that to pieces. And this coordination, that's just something that comes from playing as a team for this long and knowing each other movements and how fast one of your teammates can react to your call.
Dignitas being back on form, which has been scary here for the Ducks. And they'll have to try and defend this push in the bottom that's coming in. Remember that well is the main target, but if they can get hero picks as well, they wouldn't mind. Greymane so strong and getting into those fights and really melting opponents when they get on top of them. So far though, the Ducks are handling it quite well with Nande in the front and Wolf Joe helping out with heals.
Now here's of course one question. Is the camp going to be taken by the Ducks? They have defended against the night camp of Dignitas. If they can take their own camp and time that with the Temple, they should get value out of the Haka pushing here. And down here, Medivh at least is starting to put some pressure onto those backlines. But I really like how JPL reacts. He sees the portal coming in, immediately a stun goes towards the portal, trying to use the Impale to stop anyone who makes his way through here. It's also one of the reasons why you oftentimes see Bed of Barbs taken when portal or when a Medivh is on the other side. Yes. But in this case, they are going into the Underking on level 4 instead because they really want to dive with Illidan and Greymane into that backline.
That's something that you probably learn at home if you're playing Hero League against Medivh or anything. Just being predictive is okay to throw out those random stuns occasionally on those portals if you think they're coming out. Because of how razor thin Force of Will has to be, there can be moments where you can catch somebody on the pick.
Talking about catching.
Yeah, exactly. Bakery getting caught here, and he's low on health, and Eternal walks forward, gets a kill with the help of Chris.
Yeah, that was an important rotation from them. I really like this, since they had very little chance of getting value at the bot lane. Their problem is that their level 10 is far away than what we're seeing from Dignitas. So Dignitas has the earlier level 10, but now value up at the top. That was a really cool move from the Ducks, and they will get their own level 10 ability now. So they lose the fort at the bot lane, but they still focus it. Oh, but Nande. This is what we talked about earlier. You can't be caught, but the problem for them is that Brightwing, no one else is jumping in just yet, and this could be a dead Illidan as Chris jumps in again. They really want Zillia, and they get him. The tongue connects, Chris finishes him off. The Italian ninja being deadly as always.
That will die in a couple weeks. Rest assured, my friend.
It's such a bad joke, I'm going to bring it back every time.
Well, Nande wound up being bait here. Zillia getting picked up for 7 seconds will not have him back in the fight. Brightwing stays in the top lane to deal with the pressure, but the Playing Ducks answer back the moment they hit 10, and suddenly they're in a spot where they're in a better position than Dignitas. They have the fort in the top left, fort in the middle, and they're slightly ahead in experience.
Yeah, they are ahead in the game now, from a structural point of view in particular, and that's the most important here. So, and they haven't even used any great combos just yet. Dignitas was attempting to use the aggression after level 10. We've been talking about the Hunt coming in, Brightwing as well, but they couldn't in that moment because they were just a bit too isolated. Zelia just got a little bit too trigger happy there. So, him taken down, the fort being traded. It's great from the Ducks. But again, on map 1 and map 2, the early game and the mid game was also something where the Ducks looked very strong. It was the late game where they really struggled to seal the deal.
See if they can seal that deal here. Luckily for them, Sky Temple is one of those battlegrounds that if you can get a strong early to mid game and you can grab the temples and control them, you don't have to go for a core and make those calls. Just control the temple, siege upon your opponents, break down the keeps, and get pressure naturally.
Now, what we have to focus on, of course, too, is the isolation from Dehaka. If he hits that against Illidan, that would be great for them. This is really one of the crucial abilities in the team fights that he needs to land. If that's the case, they have a very good shot at taking Illidan down, and that's a lot of the damage potential that we have from Dignitas. Just Dehaka providing that space for the rest of the team, and Li Ming in particular, of course.
Yeah, I think this isolation can actually hit any of the targets here. Dignitas, if they hit it on a Nubrak can't throw charge away, he doesn't get that shield, he can focus him down. Illidan great itself, obviously, for reasons unknown. Brightwing as well, though, getting the isolation and not being able for them to drop the Emerald Wind to get out allows for the Playing Ducks to chase. A lot of good targets here for that isolation, but it has to land.
Yeah, Sword Billy also just being a nuisance with the vision. It's one of the big assets that you have in your team with the Medivh. You just get vision over everything on the map. And this is now an even trade, at least for now, in temples. So JPL is actually looking to interrupt here a bit. Dehaka still pushing the top, that shouldn't be really an issue for them. And Illidan is the one that still holds the shrine at the bot lane, or the temple at the bot lane. So that would allow him to go in, but here is already the leyline seal being used. We have Cocoon as well. Nanda trying to get away here. That was a surprisingly bad reaction from the Ducks.
The Hunt comes out, Eternal will react perfectly there, dropping in the burrow, but will it be enough? Snitch coming in for the chase, he brings out the essence as well. The body blocks and letting him out, the portal comes out, can Eternal get away? He does retreat out, we're good to go for there, 5-4. Don't have Arthas for 8 more seconds, so Dignitas will take the opportunity to run to the middle.
Did I miss something, or was it a bit weird to you? After the Cocoon was used, I was pretty sure that we are seeing the Ducks moving in, but Rhaegar didn't even move over.
The portal duration ended, and they didn't have a spot to actually move in for the fight, and they were controlling on the right side there. Also, you have to be aware of the Emerald Wind possibly being effective.
But he didn't use Emerald Wind, did he?
No, he didn't use it yet, but they were scared of it, of the actual engage occurring.
Yeah, but Rhaegar didn't even try to go to Arthas. There wasn't even the attempt to move in, and Illidan was still at the bot lane. They could, I don't know why they were afraid in that moment. They had the leyline seal out already. They were still on the temple. I think the team coordination was a bit off there. They could have forced that fight, or they could have taken that fight if they wanted. They could at least have saved Arthas.
Yeah, we should check out the replay sometime and get a full read on it and see if maybe we missed something. Do have the temple sieging on the bottom here, and Dignitas with that fight is able to take a decent lead here as they break down all the forts on their opponents, have 14-13, and their next couple of temples will start hitting keeps.
Yeah, that was still weird. You just lost the 4 versus 5, and you lost afterwards then the temple. So they had a lead. Again, it's pretty reminiscent of map number 1. They are behind now by roughly a talent. It's not, sorry, not a talent, but a level. It's not too crazy yet. Medivh still giving the vision. That makes it really hard for Dignitas, by the way, to make a play for the boss here.
It's one of the strengths of Medivh, just constantly floating around you, which means that your shot calling has to be confident and willing to do whatever you want to do, but underneath the watchful eye of that bird. You have to naturally kind of be together at all times. Globals do help you out with that, but if you don't have globals, staying near your teammates when Medivh is floating around is usually a good idea.
Yeah, so once again, Dehaka at the top lane, trying to get value of the global ability. Yeah, they are trying to collapse on Illidan again. Eternal is moving in. Zelia is isolated completely, but hunts away on the other side, simply going for Wolfjoe here, providing that target and dashing out. Burning the cooldown here for mobility. But nice combo from Mene here against Eternal, already dropping him to 50% HP.
Incredible jukes there from Zelia, using the hunt to get away from the fight, diving to his teammates. The teammates coming in overall. Zelia goes back to the top lane and will start hitting on minions again. And remember, he has the hunt available soon if he works on that cooldown. He'll be able to get it up quickly, and his team will be hitting 16.
Yeah, that's the big problem. The 16, the Ducks will most likely attempt to at least trade some shots on the temple. You get the wave also down here. And they are aiming for another camp. Don't think they will really get the 16 in time. Dignitas doesn't have it yet either, but they will soon. And Medivh once again being an absolute savior here.
Letting his team set up. And that's the strength you can have of being able to see the opposing team. You just saw Chris and Rhaegar work on those Giants, knowing exactly, even though they were in a moment where they can get engaged upon, what their opponents were doing and how they would move in for the fight. Both temples grabbed for Dignitas to the top and the bottom.
Yeah, already Illidan is moving away. He realized he won't be able to do too much here because the 16 is ready for the Ducks in just a second. They have another wave at the bot lane that they can grab if need be, but also Medivh just being floating around here. So I like that Xayah doesn't risk anything here yet. Brightwing takes the top. Both of the teams are now in 16. And this is, especially for Rhaegar, of course, a power spike with the Earthgrass Totem.
Greater Polymorph being grabbed here for the Brightwing to help out with any target that they do lock down. A little bit longer duration on that Polymorph form. Ideal against Genjis, Illidans, but also just great in blow-up comps. Get a little bit more time there to work on killing your opponent. Speaking of killing opponents in the middle, Arthas is taking some damage. We do have Genji engaging actually here in the middle from the Playing Ducks. They're going straight in for the fight. And they get a Cocoon out. Yeah,
Cocoon is out here already. At the same time though, the steady, what we're actually seeing on the side of Medivh could really help with the reabsorption here. With all the focus that we've seen from Greymane, the Cursed Bullet, and the potential of locking someone down with the stuns on a Nubra, getting the hunt in, and then the Cursed Bullet, I really think the adjustments on the level 16 are great for the Ducks. Getting the reabsorption, but also the embrace death on Arthas. Yeah, they're already trying to get the lockdown. Greymane is in trouble. Emerald Wind being used. That's another cooldown that just got burned.
Illidan top though.
Yeah, he got the keep.
Got the keep. Easily done there. That's the threat of Illidan being in the lane by himself. And the Playing Ducks are starting to get stretched thin. At some point, they may have to force a boss fight.
The globals that we have are just absolutely fantastic again for Dignitas. The Haka didn't really get anything done up at the top. It's really the decision making from Dignitas that is great.
Leyline.
Ducks are a bit locked down, yeah. Leyline being used. So, oh, the kill again against Arthas.
The Ducks going for a fight, but it does not pan out for them. Leyline still coming out, the Hunt jumping on top of Medivh. Chris working on the Cocoon on the left side that was used on Wolfjo, so Clint's couldn't come out, but a Thurnal being chased across the map.
Yeah, Arthas, I mean, no answer. There was nothing really saving him. He's not even using his own ult there.
Hang on here, there's another fight happening. Once again, Wolfjo has been caught.
Cleaning up, well, at least they're trying to, but the portal saves them for now. Or does it? Snitch is there and just barely misses them.
Dignitas willing to chase here. But 18 seconds until Arthas is back, taking away. This boss could be difficult, especially with Leyline still being used earlier. 35 seconds and it's not going to be on the field. Dignitas looks to take this boss.
Yeah, if you use the Leyline, you have to make sure you get some value. Okay, so at least they're getting with the Earthgrass Totem something. But now we're seeing Sport Billy in trouble, barely getting out. Really playing with fire here.
Even with the Force of Will with the absorption, still going down to last and half health. Sport Billy will have Leyline Sail in 12 seconds. They're forcing a fight, it looks like. A Thurnal coming in. The isolation has hit Mayonnaise or Bakery. He still turns around and drops off the Emerald Wind.
They really want to fight this. Illidan is starting to come in. Already Cocoon used in the back, but burned down. Boss is starting to push the bottom keep. They want to fight something here. They want to try and force it so they can get some kills. They have to gain some momentum because they lost the keep at the top already. And at the bot lane, it doesn't look too good either. Nice dodge on the stun, but they just are not fast enough to get Bakery.
And Illidan's in the middle, working on experience. He also got the Giants pushing on the bottom right to help out with that boss. And if they don't get cleaned up soon, we will have that keep being killed off. Same time, Illidan grabs the Watchtower, a Temple's activated in the top.
Dignitas is just playing around the Ducks the entire time here. We had 4 kills against 2. We are 15, 16 minutes in now, and we have only seen 6 kills. And Dignitas is just playing this extremely smart. They take the fights when they can, and it just feels that all the deaths, or a lot of the deaths on the side of the Ducks, weren't really necessary, or were isolation fights where you couldn't really get to a target to save them. Arthas in particular has definitely suffered this game. And now Dignitas heading into 20, looking super strong here, and pressuring more keeps.
Difficult game, man. When you're facing off against double globals, you can't get isolated, but you also have to stretch thin to grab that experience.
Yeah.
Dignitas really just pushing their opponents into weird scenarios. And it's paying off. With them being able to push in the bottom, they're working on 20. At level 20, Illidan be able to grab Nowhere to Hide, hunted across the map.
Also, the entire map is just blue. Every single camp that we see, with the exception of the top right night camp, has been taken by Dignitas. They're really pressuring the lanes. Cocoon again, used this time as a disengage for JPL. Sport really goes in. It's still 16 versus 16 tunnel for a little bit longer. Sport really thinking about maybe getting the ley line in, but not committing to it. Brightwing was already in a position where it could have portaled in. Eternal just barely dodging JPL's counter engagement attempt.
Illidan floating around the top side, trying to see where everyone from the Ducks are. Could move in for a core. Decides to pull it back. Just all about dancing, all about the shot calling, while Brightwing keeps sieging away with that tempo on the top. Dignitas now at 20 are in a spot where they can force something to happen, and they are looking to do so as they head up and grab the night camps of their opponents.
Yeah, bot lane, they want all the camps on the map, and they're going to get that now. Bot lane was pressured heavily, the keep has nearly fallen. We have, of course, seen damage against the keep in the mid lane by now too. And Hunter's Blunderbuss has now been picked up, Tal Rush's Element. This is just really rough for the Ducks. They are still so far behind in experience. They will have to eventually take a fight against level 20 talents. I don't think that they have a chance of waiting for their own 20 to hit.
Dignitas will siege on this bottom here. They have another keep they can pick off, and with Li Ming poke and a full level ahead, Ducks don't have much they can do to defend against it except sit here and take the damage and watch their keep fall.
I think you have to fight. I don't think you can take that slow death here. Because the problem still remains. You have now lost 2 of your keeps. They can poke away in the middle. If you just wait for your 20, they can again play around you. Dignitas, if they don't engage into a meaningful 5 versus 5 fight, how do you beat them?
Yeah, but at the same time, you're only half a level away right now, and you have to be thinking, okay, if we don't fight, if we fight now, we lose. We'll blame it on waiting for 20.
Now,
yeah, earlier
they
you were
had
talking about it, though.
Yeah, they had. You could have done it earlier when the keep was still there, but they want to have the 20, and then their only hope is in winning a team fight. And I am just afraid that Dignitas is simply not giving them the team fight.
Well, Ducks gonna go ahead and just wait and see if they can get the best possible outcome, which right now is at 20. They do hit it. And now it's all about chasing. You're right. We got to chase down an opposing team and force a fight, and we have to also think about that Illidan.
Yeah, you have to worry about the Illidan that could literally just jump on your core, especially with Hunt. Could try and make that play, and you have 2 temples that you need to somehow guard.
Dignitas floating around the right side. As the unit is 5, they go in for the engage. Brightwing comes in. Peekaboo will show where everyone's at. Nande with the big flank. Does find Mane, but he teleports out.
Well, they want the team fight, and that might be their best chance to get it. Already, Dragon Blade is out. We see the Haka in a bit of trouble, not enough. Yep, there comes the isolation attempt. Blocked by the Ice Block. Great play by Bakery. Bakery still low, getting the continuous wins. And Eternal is also low. We get sealed with the Ancestral, and Bakery still being attacked. Using the Polymorph, JPL helps him out, and Bakery escapes. Leyline comes in, only hitting Anubarak.
Can Snitch get out? Hang on here.
And
He's
Illidan
low.
just doesn't care about any of it. He's just on the temple. He simply gets the shots in. The keep is down.
Snitch
Illidan's
lives.
doing his thing.
He comes in for the hunt, he turns around, he's on top of Sport Billy, and they peel back, and with all the keeps down, we have catapults in every single lane,
and
pushing
also
in Playing Ducks.
A double temple. Illidan just didn't care. He just said, "Hey guys, you run. I get the temple. That's fine." Keeps are down. Catapults are pushing in. The Ducks are in a checkmate position. They need to defend against the catapults, but at the same time, they need to defend 2 temples.
They're dancing around. They're trying to force something. JPL is even heading straight for the core. Everyone on Dignitas is spread out, and they're just buying time. They know the catapults are on the core, a total of 3, and they're starting to drop the health already of their opponent's core, down to 60%, and the temple being grabbed in the top.
Yeah, Illidan is at the top. Once again, it continues wins. Anubarak already using the cocoon. They're simply going for it. It's down to 50. There's no way they're going to lose this now. They have the damage output, and they're putting it in. Dignitas aiming for the 3-0 against the Playing Ducks and taking the win on Sky Temple.
Step 1 of 3 steps done here for Dignitas. They need to win all 3 of their games here. They are able to take on the Playing Ducks. Tomorrow they have to go against Fnatic, but for today on Friday, they've done their task.
Yeah, was really Dignitas impressed today. I liked the Ducks on game 1 and game 2. The third one was, I feel, a little bit falling back into the old habits, but Dignitas just looking so strong. They never fought when they didn't have to. They always played around the opponent. It was especially transparent on Infernal Shrines and on Sky Temple, our last map, with their plays around Dehaka, Brightwing in particular, then on the last map, Illidan. Really well done by them.
It's cool to see them pull out the Brightwing, too, and have a little bit more of a mix-up compared to what we normally see from them. When you think Dignitas, you usually think some kind of hooks or some kind of isolation picks into blow-up compositions or even wombo combos, but here we got some global play from them, and you're mentioning it constantly. It's great to see it from them. Just more stuff they're putting in their notch of the belt of things they can play, and the Brightwing coming out, thumbs up in my book.
Yeah, was actually quite impressive. Then again, this is really one of the games that I want to rewatch and replay, because there were a couple of kills and deaths on the side of the Ducks where I was really wondering, why does that happen right now? You're losing a 4 versus 5 that you don't even have to take, but you can if you want to. They were just losing on every single lane. They never really I don't know, it felt sometimes the Arthur's death felt quite strange, where I was just like, why did that just have to happen?
Yeah, in my brain, it's just Dignitas being Dignitas and forcing things to happen. Granted, we don't expect them to be Fnatic level, but they are still a team that come in there and they can make things occur. And maybe the Playing Ducks also, in game number 1, you saw them playing reserved. Maybe they're just like, you know what? That person is savable, but just give them up. Let's just go ahead and wait for the next fight.
You mean a better fight than a 4 versus 5?
I mean, yeah.
Good luck getting that.
I don't know, man. Playing Ducks, they look better today, but not able to do it as they will get 3-0'd. And they definitely still have a tough road ahead of them. We'll see what matches they can take on. But Dignitas continuing to trudge forward, looking for that Western clash, wanting to get up there with Fnatic and crew. And the big match is tomorrow, Fnatic versus Dignitas. And I'm going to have to ask whoever comes up on the interview about that match, because it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, they have 2 big matches now. Against a direct opponent, that's going to be the last one. It's going to be the one against Strict Esports. And against Fnatic. If they take Fnatic down, that would be such a relief already. Fnatic is qualified for the Western Clash. That nothing can happen there. It's only about position. But Dignitas, if they win against Fnatic, that would help them so much in the standings. This today was a must-win game for them. And then winning them with a 3-0 was really important, especially for the map score. But overall, Dignitas is just really back to where we saw them at the mid-season brawl, because afterwards everybody was really wondering, okay, what's going on here? Why are they all of a sudden falling off this much? But they're definitely back to business.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one to watch simply because Dignitas is hungry. They want to make sure they get there. And Fnatic at the same time, they're just being undefeated. They are wanting to go to BlizzCon in general. They're here to win every single series, taking one at a time when they get the chance here. So let's go ahead and talk about the schedule for Dignitas, what they have to face off against right now. As mentioned, Fnatic is the big match tomorrow, so make sure you tune in for it. It's going to be a good one. And then Strict Esports, who themselves might be able to go to the Western Clash too. We're going to have them butting heads definitely on the 21st.
Yeah, on the 21st, there's a very good chance that this game is going to decide who goes to the Western Clash. Tricked has been doing well today against the good guys. They are playing, of course, this weekend also against the Zealots. And then their last game will be the one against Dignitas. So this is definitely the head-to-head that we have to watch out for. And Tricked is going to be highly motivated for this.
Well, for the Western Clash right now, we already have a couple of teams qualifying. Nomia and the Red Canids from LATAM, of course, and then the ANZ region. So we will see them again. For you people that love both those teams, make sure to check them out. I know I'm looking forward to more Nomia. Red Canids as well. I like to see them improve every single clash. Also,
Nomia is really, really strong. We just have to hope that while they are waiting to go to the event, they are not being attacked by drop bears. But outside of that...
Drop bears are scary, man. I looked them up on the internet. It's a thing you can use if you're near a computer, and they look terrifying. Their teeth are large.
Yeah, I had to battle with drop bears like constantly when I was down in Melbourne. It was scary, but you can get through it. At some point, you get used to it. Or just like the drop bear fight, you need to be.
Is that where you like sharpened your skills as like a fighter? It's where you got your masculinity from.
Exactly.
Fighting drop bears.
It's all against the drop bears. If you can survive drop bears, you survive everything.
Oh man! For those that missed it, when we were at the MSB, Nomia and crew, we were talking to them, and they told me about the fears that they have to deal with constantly in Australia. Drop bears just dropping out of the air and just attacking them and getting their heads. After 10 o'clock, apparently, they become even more fierce. So if you ever go to Australia, be careful.
Yeah, and if you ever listen to Fat94 talking about it, the guy his humor is so dry. I mean,
amazing.
His delivery on that line when he was talking about how afraid he is to leave his house after 10 o'clock was just insane.
We're trying our best to get him to stream more often. This morning I was like, can you make sure you stream between the Korea and the EU cast? Because his stream is a lot of fun. Talking about the European standings, at the very top, Fnatic continues to be undefeated. So let's go ahead and see how everything's shipping out after today's match. The Playing Ducks, with their loss, go all the way down to number 8, 1-5.
Look at this. Just look at it. It is so good. We have 4 teams on the exact same score at this point. We have 4 teams aiming for the last 2 open positions for the Western Clash. It's fantastic.
So let's theorycraft for a second. If Dignitas wins tomorrow, they'll be 4-2. And then they'll face off against Strict Esports, but they'll still be in the ones slightly ahead. Oh, man.
The thing is, if Dignitas loses tomorrow,
they go down to 3-3.
Exactly, and then they are in a very, very rough spot.
So they can't lose tomorrow. Like, I would be going to that match thinking, I cannot lose. Not like they can't.
I mean, in theory, they can lose tomorrow, but once that they take that loss, they would depend on other teams to get certain results against the rest they play against.
And on the other side, you still got Team Liquid floating around, and number 3 with a 3-2. And it's weird. In my brain, I'm kind of like already counting Team Liquid out, but I shouldn't. You know, both Dignitas and Team Liquid, you should never count out.
Yeah, also, let's not forget, we talk a lot about the direct comparison between Tricked going up against Dignitas on the last day. Expert still has to play against Liquid.
That's true.
So that's another one where we are going to see, okay, who's going to get the upper hand here? Because that is another one of the matches that could potentially decide which one of the two goes to the clash and which one falls out.
Too many good matches, man. We're getting down to the thick and thin. But let's go ahead and talk to Bakery, who is now joining up. Bakery, welcome to the show. It's always good to see your face. You're nice and smiling as always.
Nice to be here, I guess.
Nailed it. Perfect intro. Bakery, what's going on, man? 3-0 victory today. Well, this is a match that you guys came in and thought, you know what, we have to just win this one and just shut it down.
So for our series today, we kind of wanted to be a bit careful, I would say. We definitely don't want to lose this, but a lot of our focus is on Fnatic tomorrow. So we tried our hardest, but we were trying to keep calm and stay focused.
Today we saw a lot of Brightwing from you guys. Is this something that we're going to see a little bit more often, or were you guys just kind of mixing in as you felt like you can get the victory over the Playing Ducks?
We're continuing our ideas about how to evolve as a team and adopt some new strategies, and Brightwing is definitely part of that. Brightwing is a hero that really encourages global play, and we've been mixing that into our repertoire a bit this week.
It looked great, especially on Sky Temple. I know Caldor and I were enjoying it. And speaking of Caldor, I'm going to send him over to you.
Yeah, well, so first of all, also congratulations from my side. Just jumping back on that Brightwing again, the one thing that stands out a bit for me is that after you guys identified the double support as one of the core aspects in the meta, you moved afterwards away from it a little bit since you didn't get quite the results that you wanted. But we see now that Mene in particular jumps on a lot of different heroes for you guys. So is that a priority for you in scrims to just try and get more heroes for certain players so that you have a bit more variety and are less predictable?
Yeah, that's definitely it. As I think I touched on possibly last week when I came on, I was saying about how Mene is a really flexible player, or at least he should be, given the amount of heroes that he plays. But for the past year in our team, he's been almost unbelievably inflexible. So again, we've been really experimenting with him, and I think he's doing a great job on Brightwing, actually. He's definitely one of the best Brightwings in Europe right now.
Okay, best support in A, I guess.
Look at him.
Talking a bit about the rest of the season for you guys, do you feel that you are back on track? You had a bit of a rough start, but right now, as we just saw in the standings, we have 4 teams that really fight for the last 2 spots. And especially you're going still up against Fnatic. You play against Tricked, which is a direct competitor, so you basically can't lose anything here. Do you feel that you are back in the shape where we saw you at the mid-season brawl and can now take on everyone and take back your spot in the top 3?
It's always hard going into Fnatic. Obviously, they're the big dog in Europe right now. They haven't dropped a series yet. But I'd say that based on our scrim performance and how we've played our past 2 HGC matches, then I'd say we're comfortable again. And I think we'd be in good form to take them on tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, Bakery, before I let you go so you guys can practice and get ready for tomorrow's big match that we're all going to tune in for, I'm going to give you the floor so you can drop some shout-outs.
So shout outs to Team Dignitas and all of our sponsors, of course. They enable us to do this, which is great. Shout out to my team. I think we had a really solid performance today and also last week. And yeah, thanks guys for casting, and thanks for everyone who tuned in and cheered us on.
Awesome. Congratulations to Dignitas and crew. They get a victory today with a 3-0. Also had a 3-0 last week, so they're definitely looking back to be in form, but they're going to need it because tomorrow they are taking on Fnatic. Let's go ahead and take a look at the